Welcome to Kick-Ass Career Changes. I am Tony Rosati, and I go live weekly, right now Thursdays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, so that you can learn a lot more about your career identity, get that career clarity, so that you can have the impact that you want on the world. And today is a nice, juicy topic. We are going to be talking about unconscious self-sabotage. And we are pretty comfortable with understanding our conscious self-sabotage. But hearing a little bit more about your unconscious self-sabotage, I think, is going to blow your mind a bit. So we'll go over the biological kind of underpinnings of what is happening and how it came to be and what the heck to do about it. All right. So if you do not already know, please join the free Facebook group. You will get announcements when we go live, what the topic is. It is Kick-Ass Career Changes, and it is at facebook.com/groups/career clarity. So if you are on any channel, I very much want to be able to respond to any questions that you might have. So make sure to hit #replay so that I get a notification and I can respond to you. All right. So conscious self-sabotage is essentially whenever we know that we're procrastinating, right? We've got a project due and maybe we're thinking that it has to be perfect. And so rather than put our focus into it, we watch yet another episode on Netflix. Any avoidant sort of thing like that, or like over the top thing that we do to practice or overwork, self-sabotaging. But unconscious self-sabotage is more where you are just not clear why you're stuck. Why is this happening? Something that I personally did long ago was I was going from being a photographer to being a scientist, and I was really interested in natural disasters, and I'd come up with this program, and I got to pitch the director of the California Geological Society. I had a budget, and it was so important to me that I get this project and do it really well that I missed our appointment. So that meant that literally 6 or 7 people were on this call. It's about me. I'm presenting, and I didn't show up. I forgot. Somehow it wasn't in my calendar correctly, and I have no idea what I actually did, but I do recognize it, looking back, of course, as something that was so important to me that I was afraid to have it. Does that make sense? Has anything like this happened to you? Like what's coming up so far? And I'll tell you one more story. I did end up getting another meeting with them and pitching them, but I didn't get the project. And hey, shocker, I wouldn't think of myself as all that reliable either. Anyway, I had a client who started recognizing this pattern. It's why she came to me, that she would interview really confidently, and she was excited about the things that she was interviewing for, and she'd get jobs. And this pattern was that she had all of this gusto, and then when she'd show up to the job, something held her back. She started feeling nervous and insecure and worried about not doing things as well as she possibly could, or not fitting in, or things like that. So this was unconscious because she was absolutely stumped as to why this was happening to her. How can she just flip as soon as technically she was more secure, she had the job. So how this works, let me tell you a bit about how humans learn. We learn through metaphor, and we really learn new things pretty much only based on what we already know, right? And so we are social creatures, and so the very, very beginning nugget of what we learn is, of course, relating to each other socially. So if you're one of those people that hates therapy, yes, I am about to say we're going to go way back, and it's your parents' fault. But I know when I learned some of this stuff, I felt this like falling stomach despair because there's nothing I can do about the past. Like I was raised in a funky home. The statistic is that 96% of at least American family households have some level of dysfunction. And I was quite solidly somewhere in that 96%. So I was like, oh, great. So what, I was marked from the very beginning. And turns out, no, I was not marked from the very beginning. I was not doomed to continue forgetting very, very important meetings, for example. But one of the ways out of this is, oh, wait, first. So what ends up happening is when you are a child, you are learning how to relate, learning how to trust, wondering if your expectations are going to be met. And all of those things get stored as rules or schema of how the world works, how you're understanding things. And all of that gets stored in a piece of the brain that people barely talk about. And it's called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's a very old part of our brain. And all it wants to do is understand the world around us and keep us safe. And so this piece of our brain is literally a gatekeeper. And another interesting role of this piece of our brain is it shows, it almost controls what we notice in the world. So like early on when I was dating my partner, we did this hackathon, and we're working on this project that had to do with commercial real estate. And so because that was on our mind, and this was a multi-week project, we would drive around and see these commercial real estate for sale, for rent signs, and we were attuned to notice them. I'm sure you've had the experience of maybe you're shopping for a car or something else. And, way before we had these ads that, seemed like they could hear what we were thinking, you would notice these things that you were looking for. Hey, maybe you wanted a Honda. All you saw on the road was a particular Honda, because your reticular activating system is looking for those things, to be gathering more information based on the bit that you already know and trying to make sense of the wider thing. I have an outline, so sorry. Okay. So if you've ever had the experience of feeling like you're stuck because one part of you really wants to go this direction, but the other part of you is really feeling this way and kind of against it. And they're basically fighting, right? And so maybe you have said that you really want to become a UX designer. And when it comes down to practicing your skills or applying things that you've learned on your own, maybe creating a new website or a new prototype just to be learning something, you feel this sense of, avoidance or like not wanting to do it for whatever reason. So these separate parts of you are what creates this unconscious self-sabotage. So you're being pulled in these directions and you end up just stuck and really not clear about what to do going forward. So the person that radically changed my life and helped me integrate all of these things and really reprogram and understand some of the rules that my brain is literally living by is one of my mindset coaches in my impact and identity program. And so if we ever get to work together, if you hear more about it, this is exactly who I'm talking about. And by integrating all of those things, we're able to remove these blocks on this subconscious level. And so going forward, we're getting rid of all of these things that used to make us feel like we were running through waist deep mud and not getting to where we want to be in our careers. So, what I'm going to encourage you to do is get really curious about what are these rules that I live by and for whatever reason believe are true of the world. And I'm not talking about your spirituality or religion or lack thereof. It has everything to do with, oh, hey, I see this person, maybe they have a lot of money or they're in charge or whatever. I'm just coming up with examples. And there are biases that a person is putting onto a person like that. Something that's really common is a money mindset that is keeping you where you do not want to be. Yes, so I would love to hear what some of your rules are that maybe are working for you, maybe aren't working for you, or maybe you're ready to explore what that rule actually means for you or does to you. And I would love to chat about it on whatever platform you are watching this on. Again, do the hashtag replay and come join us in the free Facebook group, Kick Ass Career Changes. It is at facebook.com/groups/career clarity. Thanks.